sir.
So, good evening, everyone. I hope my voice is audible and screen are visible to you. I just want to check that my voice is audible and screen are visible to you. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So, what are the things we are going to learn today? Today, we are going to learn generics. So, generic was first introduced in Java version 5. And now it's one of the most profound feature of Java programming language. Generic programming enables the programmer to create a classes, interfaces, methods, constructor in which type of data is specified as a parameter. That means we are create a class with a parameter when we are use a generic. So generic provides the facility to write an algorithm independent of any specific type of data. Generic also provide type safety. Type safety means ensuring that an operation is being performed on the right type of data before executing that operation. So using generic, it has become a possible to create a single class, interface or methods that automatically work with all types of data like integer, string, float. It has expanded the ability to reuse the code safely and easily. So that's why we are use generics. So how to create generic class? But before that, once again, I summarize these all things. Java generics is a powerful feature introduced in Java version 5 that allow to creation of classes, interfaces, and methods with the type parameters. Generics enable type safety, code reusability, and compile time checking while working with a different data types without writing multiple versions of the same code. So why we are using generics then? Generic actually before Java version 5, Java used raw types like uh, array list without a generic. So it's having typecasting issues. It's having runtime errors. It's most of code or duplication are there. To avoid these all things, we are using generics. So so generics solve these problems by allowing parameterized type, ensure type safety and reusability. So when we are using generics, it's a provide type safety, man. That means ensure only specific types are used, preventing class cast exception. It's a detects error at compile time instead of runtime. It's a enable writing generic classes, interface methods that work with any type. It's a remove the need of explicit type conversion. So no need to type casting. So when we are think about generics, Java allow the creation of generic classes, interfaces, and method using type parameter. These type parameter are defined inside angular bracket, where we are define a type parameter inside angular bracket, and that's a angular bracket. That's a angular bracket. So within that angular bracket, when we are enter a T, that means what? It's a type, any class or interface or methods. When we are use E, that means it's a use as an element. So most of time we are use that things in collections. When we are use E type, E after E, K type, that means what? Use in a key value pairs, we are use a K type. After that, there are type V, that's represent value using key value pairs. After that's a type of N. It's a uses for a number, that means numeric type. We are using N. So so we can use multiple type parameter that allowing more flexibility. So that's the types we are use, but it's recommended that things you are use that type, but it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory. So let's see discuss regarding generic classes. So a generic class allow define a class with a parameters type. That means it can work with a multiple data types while maintaining data type safety. So how we can create that things? Let's see. So here I'm going to create a generic class. Class. That class name is a generic class, and it's a type of T. When we are write a generic class, we are use that type within angular bracket. We are declare a type. After that, within a generic class, we have a constructor, normal constructor, we have normal concrete method. So we can write that things. But here I'm going to demonstrate that things how we can create a constructor generic. So let's create a normal constructor first. Then we can discuss a generic constructor. So it's a normal class. It's holding a type as a instance variable. That's the data. Look here, it's a generic variable. I'm declare one generic variable. Now I want to initialize that generic variable. So that's why I'm going to create a constructor. So that's a normal concrete constructor we are using here to initialize a data. The generic class holding normal methods. So we have a data. That's a generic variable, right? So we can get a data using getter method. So here I'm going to create a getter method. So that's a getter and setter method. I'm right there, right? So that's the way to create a generic class. And here we are use a generic type for variable. We are use a generic type for a parameter. We are use a generic type for a return type. So I hope you understand that things. Now, generic are also useful to create interface. So I'm going to create one interface here. Interface. That interface name is generic interface. That's the name of interface. And it's a type of T. Type of T. So here we are create interface. That interface holding one abstract method. It's a void display. Void display. And what's its display? T value. T value. So that's the abstract method holding a generic type parameter. So we have generic class, right? So let's use that interface within that generic class. For that reason, we need to extract interface. So implements what's a generic type, generic interface. Implement generic interface. It's a type of T. That's good. Now that generic interface holding one abstract method. So we need to implement that abstract method. So that abstract method here we are implemented. And within that abstract method, I'm going to print a value. Okay. So that's an example of generic class and generic interface. So I hope you understand how to create a generic interface and how to create a generic class. Here with a generic class, I show you that generic class will be hold a concrete method. That's a concrete method. We are write a getter and setter. Generic class can be hold a constructor, normal constructor. So we are right there in line number 23, concrete constructor. Generic class will be implement interface. So here we are implement interface. That's a type of generic, and that's a abstract method we are implemented within a generic class. So I hope that all things are clear. That means a generic class, you are right like a normal class, but when you are declare a class with a parameter, then it's a generic. Is it clear? Is any question regarding generic class? Is any question regarding generic class? Once we are complete that generic topics, I will summarize that all things. So let's create object of generic. So let's see how to create an object of generics. So it's a generic class. Generic class. The object of generic class before we are write a generic class name. After that, the type. Now I'm going to declare a type string. So string type I am use. So it's a str instance equal to new the generic type generic class constructor. That constructor holding the string value. That's uh, hello hello generic. So that's the string value. And now I want to get the data from generic class. So within a syst out, I'm going to show that data. That's a generic class data, and it's a string instance dot get data. String instance dot get data. So that things we are right here. Thus, that generic class holding one another method, abstract implemented method, that's a display. So we need to print that things also. So to invoke string instance dot display, and the value of display is a this is a string. So that things I write there. Generics are work only with the objects. Generics are work only with the objects. So students, is it clear what is the generic and what is the purpose of generic? Is it clear what is the generic and what is the purpose of generic? Yes, that's why I'm right. It is a possible to use a normal methods in a generic class, and for that reason, I show you here the to write getter and setter methods. Okay, I'm going to summarize that all code once again. We are discussing generics, right? And before write any code, we discuss that things, what is the generics and what's the purpose of that generics. Within a collection, we are use maximum collection of classes are use generics. So before learn collection, we need to discuss generics. So that's why I'm discuss that things, what is the generics and what is the purpose of generics. Here I'm write one interface in line number 70. That interface I declare with a generics. So how to declare a generic? It's a normal interface name. After that, the diamond or a symbol is there, right? Within that diamond symbol, we are write the type. That type will be any type. It will be a string, it will be integer, it will be float. So generics are provide a type safety. Within that interface, we are declare one abstract method and it's a holding the generic type parameter. That's a value. That's a value. After that, I create one class. That class I want to create with a generic type. So after class name, I use a diamond symbol. Within that diamond symbol, I write one parameter. That's the type of T. That class implements one interface. That interface is a generic type. After that, within a class, we are write one variable. That variable is a type of T, and that variable name is a data. Within a generic class, we are write constructor. It's a normal constructor, and that normal constructor purpose is what? To initialize a data. After that, within a that generic class, we are write normal concrete methods. So two methods I am right there to get a value and to set a value. After that, I implemented abstract method within a generic class. Implemented abstract method within a generic class. So after writing these things, I'm going to show you how to create an object of generics. We are write generic class name. After that, the type of generic, it's a string. After that, object name, new keyword to allocate memory for that generic object. After that, constructor, that means class name, and that constructor parameter, that's a type of string. So here I'm write create object using generic class. Of course, generics can be implement normal interface. If you are not write like that, it's if you are not write like that, and it's a integer or string. Then generic class are implement normal method. Generic class are implement normal method, normal interface. So I hope it's a clear. Generics only use objects, not primitive types. Generics only use with the objects, not with the primitive type. That means you can use a integer, you can use a float, you can use a character, you can use a string. It's only object are used generics. Generics are not used primitive type. Okay. So let's undo these things. Done. After that, after that, Java collection framework heavily uses generics for type safety. So we are going to learn that things. So what is the limitation of generics? It cannot use a primitive type like int, char. We need to must use wrapper classes like integer, double, float. It's not possible that we can create generic array. So array relay on runtime type checking with a generic remove. It is not possible we can initiate generic type like like it's not possible that we can initiate generic type like that. It's not possible. After that, we cannot use instance of with a generics. So instance of is an operator within a Java to make sure what's that particular objects are belong from which type. The static fields cannot use generic type. So generics are resolved at the instance level only. So static fields cannot use a generic type. So generic classes can be subclass. A subclass can be generic or non-generic. A generic classes can specify new type parameter or use inherited one. The generics do not support polymorphism in the same way as normal inheritance. So generics are used for type safety, for avoid row types. It's prefer bonded type parameter if applicable restrict with extent. So, so let's see that things also. Bonded type parameter. So what means a bonded type parameter? It's a restrict type for more control. It's a restrict type for more control. For example, here I'm going to show you. I want here I'm going to create one method that's a type of generic. So here I'm going to create one method. That method is a type of generic. So let's see how to create a method with the generic. Hamida, your question is wrong. There are not have any similarity between generics and interface. Generics we are used with the interface, class, methods, and constructor. So I'm going to create one generic method. So here I'm going to create one generic method. That method, I write method. That method is a static. Why static? We are use created already object, hmm, right? So that method is a generic method. It's a type of V and T. That means two parameters we are declare there as a generic. It's not return type. That's a generic parameter, generic type method. So method name display we are use show. Show method, I'm right there. That show method holding the type parameter. So V is V and T is T. Now within that method, just I want to get a type. So V dot get class dot get name. That things we are right here. Plus equal to, it's the same for V. After that, I want to print a class name for T also, the T. And now, once we are create its generic method, now let's try to invoke that generic method. Look here, we are created one object here, right? That's a str instance. So same object I'm going to use to call method. That's a show. But that show method holding two types. So here, first type is a string. What's a string? Uh, str instance dot get data. That string. And second type, I want the value. That's 49.68. And when I execute, it's a show that it's a belong from that values are belong from which class. So it's from double and it's from string. T mean type, E mean element, K mean key map, V mean value. After that, after that, uh, let's see, can it is a possible to create a generic constructor? Yes, it is a possible to create a generic constructor. So within the same class, I'm going to create one generic constructor. How we can create? The type, the type. After that constructor name, it's what's the constructor name? Generic interface. Generic interface. After that, it's a public, right? And we are write constructor. So we need to write it's within a class. It's a type of T and V. That's a constructor for generic type. It's T for T and V for T. So that's a generic class, not a generic interface. So I simply create generic method, generic constructor, and generic method. Now that TNV is, it can be any type, right? But that TNV I want only for numbers. Then I can use T extend T extends numbers. T extend number. So what's the meaning? That means we are use a T within a constructor. That T must be a numbers. That means numbers means which a classes inherited by number class. Only those classes we are used here as a T. That means integer, float, short, byte, double. That 6 classes we are used here for number, and it's called bounded type. What it's called? Bounded type. So you can uh, set restriction on a type that will be allowed to pass to a type parameter. This is done with the help of extend keyword when specific the type parameter. So here we have taken number class. It can be any wrapper class name. This specified T can be only be replaced by number class data itself or its subclasses. So here we are use bounded type. So is it clear? Is it clear? So I hope Hamida, you are get your answer, because here I am over loaded constructor, and that's constructor one is generic and one is concrete. Okay, is any doubt regarding generic method, generic constructor, bonded type? Is any doubt regarding generic method, generic constructor, bonded type? Okay. The generics we are used for generic class, we are used for interface, we are used for method, we are used for constructor. So class we are already right. After that, I show you how to write generic method. So here I create one generic method. How to create a generic method? Generic method create with a generic type. First time declare a type. After that return type. Method name is show. The parameters I'm use a generics. So that's a way to create generic method. That's a way to create generic method. After that, we are create a constructor. That's a generics. So how to create a constructor of generics? Look here. Our constructor is a public. After that, generic type. So here we are use two parameters of generic. That's a T and V. After that, constructor name, and it's a constructor parameter. So using that way, we are create generic constructor, and within that generic constructor, huh, huh, Just minute, student. Just minute. Okay. So using that way, we are create generic constructor. So I hope you are understand how to create a generic class, how to create generic interface, how to create generic constructor, how to create generic method. That empty diamond symbol is not allowed within a Java. We must specify the type. If we are not use the type parameters, then it's showing errors. So I'm going to share that code with you. So Sukanya, did you understand what is the TEKV? T means a type, that's any class or interface. E means element used in collections. K means a key, that's used we are in a key and value pairs. V means value, and N means number. After that, Hamida, did you understand we are overload generic method? So here I am show that constructor. What means bounded type? It's given limitation for our type to using extend keyword. So here we are use a bounded type. That's bounded type extend number class. That means number class or the subclasses only those values we are assigned here as a T. So that's a bonded. So that bonded we are used for any type of generic interface, class, method, or constructor. After that, if that we are use only a diamond symbol, then it's not allowed. When we are create a generics, we must be specify a type, that a single type or multiple type. If we are not use that types, then it's throw errors. It's a commonly used type parameters. That That K means a key, V means value, N means a number. That's numeric type, like a float, double, integer, short, byte. Then we are use N. And for as usual, for any type, we are use a T. So T include E, K, V, N. So bonded type restrict T to specify superclass or its subclasses. Generic mostly use that in a collection framework for a type safety. Here we are use a generic interface also. So it's a generic, like generic classes. Interface can also be a parameterized with a type variable. So is any question regarding generics? Okay. So what is the purpose to use generics? Mostly generics we are used to create algorithms. So to implement algorithm, we are use generics. So I want to show you that example where we can use a generics. So that's why I'm going to create one file. It's a real-time scenario. So I'm going to create one class that's name is generic algorithm. And generics maximally used to create algorithms. Sorry, implement algorithm. Okay. Uh, Students, before write that examples, we need to understand the concept of generics. So again, I'm asking same thing. If you have any question, you can raise here. So Sukanya, what is the basic syntax to declare a generic class? That's the basic syntax is what? You need to write a class name, class keyword. After class keyword, you need to write class name. After class name, there are diamond symbol. Within a diamond symbol, you can declare a single type or multiple type. Like if you want a multiple type, then I want to declare T and V. So that's a general syntax for declare generic class. Students, I already shared that code with you. Before we are implement any algorithms, please ask if you have any question regarding concept of generics. Okay, ठीक आहे. आपण काय बघितलं? जनरिक्स. आता हे जनरिक्स काय आहे आणि याचा वापर का होतो? मुख्यतः जनरिक्स हा जो पार्ट आहे हा सगळ्या मॉडर्न प्रोग्रामिंग लँग्वेज मध्ये कॉमन आहे. म्हणजे तुम्ही कुठल्याही प्रोग्रामिंग लँग्वेज बघितलं तर तिथे जनरिक्स आहे. मग जनरिक्सचा वापर कशासाठी होतो? तर टाइप सेफ्टीसाठी हा वापर होतो. टाइप सेफ्टी म्हणजे काय? आता समजा मी एक मेथड लिहिलेली आहे. या मेथडमध्ये मी एक पॅरामीटर पास केला आहे, तो आहे इंटिजरचा इंट एक्स. आणि हा INT-X जो आहे हा प्रिमिटिव्ह टाईप आहे. प्रिमिटिव्ह टाईप. मग रन टाइमला जर आपण कुठे तो वापरत असू, तर युजर कडून जर काही किंवा आउटर साइड कडून जर काही इनपुट मिळत असेल, तर यावेळेस टाइप सेफ्टी राहणार नाहीये. का टाइप सेफ्टी राहणार नाही? व्हॅल्यू आपण इंटिजर जर दिले, तर रन टाइम जर त्याला फ्लोट व्हॅल्यू दिली, तर रन टाइम एक्सेप्शन राईज होईल. टू अव्हॉइड that runtime exceptions, we need to use a type safety way, that's a generics. मग आता जनरिक्स वापरल्यानंतर काय वापरावं लागतं, म्हणजे कसं जनरिक्स वापरावं लागतं? तर जनरिक्स हे आपण कुठल्याही क्लास सोबत वापरू शकतो, मेथड सोबत वापरू शकतो, कन्स्ट्रक्टर सोबत वापरू शकतो, इंटरफेस सोबत वापरू शकतो. मग आता या सगळ्यांसोबत जनरिक्स वापरायचं म्हणजे कसं वापरायचं? सिंपल. मी एक जनरिक्स इंटरफेस तयार केला. इंटरफेस कीवर्ड, इंटरफेस नेम, that diamond symbol, within that diamond symbol एक सिंगल पॅरामीटर, जो पॅरामीटर टी पास केला मी. टी पॅरामीटर पास केलं म्हणजे मी जेव्हा या अशा सिंटॅक्सनी कुठलाही इंटरफेस लिहीन, तेव्हा तो इंटरफेस जनरेट झाला. मग इथे पॅरामीटर एकच पास करू शकतो का आपण? नाही. इथे आपण मल्टिपल पॅरामीटर पास करू शकतो. मग सिंपल एक ऍब्स्ट्रॅक्ट मेथड आहे डिस्प्ले त्या इंटरफेस मध्ये. सिंपल ऍब्स्ट्रॅक्ट मेथड आहे डिस्प्ले इंटरफेस मध्ये, आणि ती ऍब्स्ट्रॅक्ट मेथड एक पॅरामीटर ग्राह्य करते आणि ती आहे टाइप ऑफ टी. त्यानंतर आपण क्लास बनवला. क्लास तयार करण्यासाठी क्लासचं नाव आणि त्यानंतर जनरिक टाइप. इथे आपण सिंगल पॅरामीटर वापरला टी. आपल्या रिक्वायरमेंट नुसार ते मल्टिपल पॅरामीटर सुद्धा असू शकतात. यानंतर आपण जनरिक क्लासचा कन्स्ट्रक्टर कसं तयार करतात, जनरिक कन्स्ट्रक्टर कसं तयार करतात ते बघितलं. ज्याच्यामध्ये आपण बॉन्डेड टाइप वापरला. आता हा बॉन्डेड टाइप म्हणजे काय आणि जनरिक कन्स्ट्रक्टर कसा बनवतात? जनरिक कन्स्ट्रक्टर बनवण्यासाठी कन्स्ट्रक्टर आपला पब्लिक आहे, हा आहे ऍक्सेस मॉड्यूल. त्यानंतर टाइप आपण इथे देतो. हे सिंगल टाइप पण चालतं किंवा मल्टिपल टाइप पण तुम्ही देऊ शकता. त्यानंतर कन्स्ट्रक्टर नेम आणि कन्स्ट्रक्टरचे पॅरामीटर. तर या सिंटॅक्सने आपण जनरिक कन्स्ट्रक्टर तयार करतो. मग या जनरिक कन्स्ट्रक्टर मध्ये मी काय केलेलं आहे की टी हे एक्सटेंड केलंय नंबर. याचा अर्थ काय? मी जेव्हा कधी पुढे जाऊन टी ला व्हॅल्यू पास करेन, तेव्हा त्या कुठल्या असल्या पाहिजेत? नंबर रॅपर क्लासच्या व्हॅल्यू किंवा या नंबर क्लासला जे कुठले सब क्लास एक्सटेंड करतायत त्यांच्या व्हॅल्यू. मग नंबर क्लासला कुठले रॅपर क्लास एक्सटेंड करतात? तर बाईट, शॉर्ट, इंटिजर, लॉंग, फ्लोट, डबल हे 6 क्लासेस नंबर क्लासला एक्सटेंड करतात. म्हणजे काय, मी इथं टीला लिमिटेशन लावून ठेवलं. मग याला काय म्हणतात? बॉन्डेड टाइप. याला काय म्हणतात? बॉन्डेड टाइप. त्याच्यानंतर मी सिंपल मेथड तयार केली, जी एक जनरिक्स मेथड आहे. मग जनरिक्स मेथड तयार कशी करतात? जनरिक मेथड तयार करण्यासाठी आधी आपण जनरिकचा टाइप डिक्लेअर केला. आता हा टाइप सिंगल पण असू शकतो किंवा मल्टिपल. जर मल्टिपल असेल तर तो सेपरेट करण्यासाठी आपण कॉमा वापरतो. त्यानंतर रिटर्न टाइप व्हॉइड, शो या मेथडचं नाव आणि मेथडचे आर्ग्युमेंट. तर अशा पद्धतीने आपण जनरिक मेथड तयार केली. अशा पद्धतीने जनरिक मेथड तयार केली. त्याच्यानंतर मला आता या जनरिक क्लासचा ऑब्जेक्ट तयार करायचा. मग ऑब्जेक्ट मी कसा तयार करणार? हा पहिला वे दाखवला मी ऑब्जेक्ट तयार करायचा लाईन नंबर 9 ला. आता दुसरा वे दाखवतो ऑब्जेक्ट तयार करायचा. त्याला मी ऑब्जेक्टला नाव देतो OBJ. आणि याच्यामध्ये मला इन्व्होक करायचं सेकंड कन्स्ट्रक्टर जो जनरिक आहे, जो टी हे नंबर आहे आणि व्ही हे कुठलंही टाईप असू शकतं, व्हॅल्यू असू शकते. So it's a ती हे स्ट्रिंग नाहीये. ती हे काय? कुठलाही नंबर आहे. तर मी इथे देऊ शकतो शॉर्ट. ती हे कुठलाही मेथड नाहीये. तर तो काय? नंबर आहे. तर इथे मी दुसऱ्या पद्धतीने ऑब्जेक्ट तयार करतो आणि तो तुमच्यासमोर प्रेझेंट करतो. हाऊ वी कॅन क्रिएट अ ऑब्जेक्ट विथ अ डिफरंट वेट्स. काय आहे? इंटिजर, राईट? फर्स्ट नाही, शॉर्ट आहे. सो 45 आणि दुसरी व्हॅल्यू काय? स्ट्रिंग आहे. चेक करू आपल्या कन्स्ट्रक्टर मध्ये आपण पास केले टी आणि बी. Oh, we are forget that things our class is only a single type. So that class is only single type, but constructor have a two types. So that's a class. It's a string. Class is only with string. So that things I'm right here. to 45 integer. So it's a take integer. If we are write 45.9, then it's take double. Instead that string, if I'm write if I'm write 45.7 f. So it's a float. That's correct. So here we are invoke constructor. That's a generic constructor. Okay. So that's a generic constructor we are invoke here. So what's your questions? Can create of any array. Generic not supported array. So when you want to use arrays with a generic, then it is possible that you can create an object of generic array like uh, t of t array. That's a possible. That's allowed, but it's not allowed to initialize that things like t x of equal to new t of 5. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. So creation of generic type array is not allowed in a generic programming. We can make a reference of an array, but cannot initiate it. Simply here we are using inheritance. We are extend one interface using implements method. If you have a class, then you can use a extend a keyword instead implements. Is any other question? Kaushik, to extend class into class, we are use a extend keyword. To extend interface into class, we are using implements keyword. And here I am show the single inheritance. That's extend interface using implements keyword. If you want to extend a class, then you are use extend keyword instead implements. When we are use generics, when we want to write algorithms independently of any specific type of data, we are use generics. Generics are provide type safety. That type safety means ensuring that operation is being performed on the right type of data before executing that operation. So that's the purpose and advantages of using generics. Yes, of course. We are it is possible that we can extend generic class by normal class, concrete class. Generic methods, it's depend on your requirement. It can be static. So it can be static. Is any other question? regarding generics? Hamida, there are not have a types of Java generics. No, generics we are used for class, for interface, for methods, for constructor. Okay. So I'm going to show you one example how we can create algorithm with using generics. Hmm. So here generic algorithms. I will show you one algorithm. After that, I will give you questions to create algorithms. So here I want to create one algorithm for swap two elements. It's a basic algorithm. So to swap element we required array, and it is not possible to create a generic array, right? Just we are use reference of array for a swap the elements at these positions. So here I create one method. So that's our concrete class. Within that class, I'm going to create one method. It's a public static. I don't want to create a object static. Um, that method is a type of T. It's not written anything. The method name is a swap. This method holding some parameter. First one is a reference of array. After that, two variables, that is I and j. It's belong from integer. Okay. Now I just want to swap the values and store that values within array. So I use a condition if that I is greater than equal to 0 and I is less than array dot length, and and j is greater than equal to 0 and j is less than array arr dot length. So that's if it is it's all written true, then I want to make a swap t temporary object, and it's initialized with the array of I. After that, array of I is equal to array of j. So we are store array of j value into array of I. After that, uh, the array of j is empty right now, right? So we are store within array of j. What's the things we are store? Temp we can store. Temp I'm going to store within array of j. So here I create a simple algorithm to swap two numbers. So here we are use arrays, and that array with the two index. and swap the element at these positions using the swap method. So let's invoke that method. So first we required array, right? So public static void main. So integer array. Integer array I want to declare ARR. Hmm. And a random number I'm using here. Okay. So that's array. Once I declare array, I need to call a method swap. Swap with the number. That's the array. And what's I need to swap? The index 0 is a 78. Huh? And second index 0, 1, 2. Second index I want to swap. And after that, after this swap, I want to print array. Or just printing that two numbers. It's sufficient. Okay, so that's a simple algorithm I'm going to test here for swap numbers. Okay. So now 0 is a 25 and 2 is a 78. Okay. So generics we are used to create independent algorithms or to implement independent algorithms. So here I show you one simple algorithm. That algorithm swap numbers. Hmm? How it's a swap numbers? We have one array. From that array, whatever indexes we are provide, we need to swap that indexes values or elements. So here I create generic method, and now you are aware about that things how to create generic method. So that's a generic type. The method is a static. Method is a static. It's a generic type. Method not written anything. Method name is a swap. Method holding the reference object of array. That's a T array. After that method, we require two indexes to swap. So that's why integer I and j I am provide there as a parameter. Within a if we are check that condition, and when that condition are true, then let's initialize one temporary object using array of I. Now array of I is empty. So let's initialize array of I using array of j. Now array of j is empty. Let's initialize array of j using 10. Using 10. So that things we are right here. That things we are right here. So we are create simple algorithm with a generic. What is the that if condition? Here we are check both I and j are valid array index. That means I is greater than equal to 0. Means what? Its index I is not negative. That means array index must be 0 or greater, right? After that, we are right I is less than array length. That means it's a check if index I within the bonds of the array. So we are prevents array index of bound exception here, right? After that, we are right same logic for j. After that, we are right same logic for j. So only that things we are right there in line number 13. I don't want to create an object. So that's why I'm create user static. When you are implement any algorithm, that's a recommended way to use a static, because algorithms we are not involved using any object. Algorithms are invoked using classes. Is it clear why we are use a static? Is it clear what is the what's we are right within a if condition? If we are use a t here, then it's a type of element, not a primitive type of element. Then we require to create an array with a different way. Can we move? Is any other question?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, um, we are discussing array, right? Okay. I ask you question. How you can make a algorithm? That means how you can implement algorithm for reverse array. Let's create. Let's create one method. That method our implementation of reverse array. To implement a same thing with algorithms, I'm use generics. So let's see how I can use that thing. It's a simple thing. So same structure I'm use. It's a public, and we are implement algorithms. So that's why it's a static, because I don't want to create object. It's a type of t void. It's not written anything. After that name, it's a reverse array. It's holding a parameter, the reference of array. That's the type of t, right? Within that things, we required a switching. We require switching, right? So to switching the things, um, suppose the left initialize with a 0. initialize with a 0 equal to 0. And the right, it's initialized with array dot length, array arr dot length. Okay. So two variable we are initialized, but when we are use arr dot length, then maybe we having a exception array uh, out of bound exception. So that's why I'm using -1 here. So that's good. So we have left and right positions. We are set left and right position. And we know what left start from 0 and right is what? Total length -1. Here I'm use swap where what's the swap? Array is a swap left to right, right, right. And after that, I want to make increment of left and make increment of right. But it's only working once. I want to make that things repetitively. So that's why I write these things within a loop. That's a while loop going to use here. So what's the right while? Till it's complete, that's a till left less than right. I want to execute those statement. Wait, left plus plus. Left we are increment and right we need to decrement. Right. So let's say execute. So let's say execute. Thank you. So we already have an array, right? So we are use the same array. So it's generally calculated. Reverse array. So generic we are used for type safety, right? So why we are used for integer value? No, I am going to create a different type string string array root root and that's initialize with the array. Uh, okay, that's enough. So it's the applicable for reverse array for fruit. Okay. So here there are chances we are get hash code. Yes. So we are get hash code. So so that's the way to call that method within our main. So I hope you are understand that things we are use a generics for type safety. And when we are use a generics, we can use any type. Like I'm given demonstration here. We are use a T for reverse array. If that T is a integer, then also it's reverse. If that T is a string, then also it's a reverse. So that's real scenario why we are use generics and where how to use a generics. So is it understand? Okay. Now I'm given some question for you. Huh? You must use a generics. Huh? That whatever things you are using, generic class, generic interface, generic constructor or generic method, whatever things you are use, but use a generics and implement that algorithms. Huh? Do not use a chat GPT, otherwise you are lost your mind. Hmm? Okay. So I first write here. After that, I will post it on a chat. Okay, that things I am post first with you. So that's code which we are write to implement algorithms. Hmm? Now I'm going to provide you question. So first, uh, so here, suppose I given a one string that is a string str equal to what I simple hello. So let's reverse that string characters using generics. So that's the first one. After that, second. A second algorithm you need to create that check. Okay. So you have multiple elements within array. From that multiple elements, you need to check the given two elements are available within array or not. Okay. So that's the second one. So that third one. What's you need? Okay, that's enough for today. So let's create that means let's solve that two questions using generic. Your user generics, so it can be used any time. It's applicable that algorithms which you are going to implement that's applicable for um, a string, float, double, integer, character. Uh, what's expected output from second question? You need to check two elements. That two elements are exist within array. Then let's print index number and one message that elements are available within that particular index. Otherwise, it's not available. When you post your code on chat box, it's not in readable form. Please push it in your GitHub account, and after that share your file link here within a chat box. So students, try to solve that two questions. It's most easy with the generics only. And push that code on your GitHub account. Tomorrow I will check that your code. So here we are complete our topic generic. If you have any question, you can ask. Everyone understand generics and how we can implement the algorithms. Okay. So this session I'm going to end here. I hope you are enjoy that sessions. So just wait, I'm going to take presenting and stop my sharing first. I'm going to take attendance. Just wait there. Okay. So thank you very much to attend today's class. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Saturday, right? So see you tomorrow. Tomorrow on same time with the same link. And tomorrow, in a first slot, we are discuss more about generic algorithm. And after that, we are switched to collection framework. So thank you very much to attend today's class. Yes, it's a Friday too, tomorrow. So let's see on class. So thank you. I'm going to end this meeting here.